Welcome to 5 at 5. Any cricket fans out there will know Pakistan have just defied all of the odds and got to the World Cup final in the T20 cricket. And India, who were big favourites, absolutely got destroyed by England in the semi-final. So really, given how those results have panned out, I'd rather be doing cricket content because Arsenal, for only the third time this season, actually suffered a defeat. But let's get into it. Let's do my 5 at 5 from Arsenal 1, Brighton 3. Number 1, and that is defeat. Only the third time this season that Arsenal have lost the game, and we've been so consistent this season that even when we lose, we're consistent. One defeat in each competition that we've been in so far this season. United away from home in the Premier League, PSV away from home in the Europa League, and this is our first home defeat, Brighton, in the Carabao Cup. Now, look, it wasn't a good day for Arsenal. Brighton did deserve to win. I fully accept that. They had a much higher expected goals than we did as well. So credit to them. They deserve to win. But I mentioned this in my match reaction. If you haven't seen it, it is pinned below. Arsenal haven't been in a position where we're a goal down at all many times this season because we've just done so well. And it makes you think we're not really in a position where we've had much practice of trying to salvage a game. And I did mention it in my match reaction, but it seems to me we're not very good when we're a goal down. We already know we're not very good when it's not our first 11, and those two things combined really spoke volumes in the game against Brighton. Well done to Brighton. They deserve to win, but I am still a bit annoyed by it, I'll be honest with you, because for a team, a young team that is hoping to mount a sort of surprise title challenge, I think it could have been a really good confidence booster for the team to go and win a trophy during the season. But look, there's obviously benefits of not having the extra games. We're now just going to have to focus on those. And hopefully, I'll talk about those a little bit later in this as well. Number 2, and this is some good news. The day after the game, World Cup squad announcement. And whilst everyone would have expected Bukayo Saka to be in there, that was a given. Ramsdale as well, he's in there. But the surprise inclusion that has made a lot of Arsenal fans very happy is our very own Ben White. He has been brilliant this season at right back, not even in his natural position. And perhaps it's just that has convinced Gareth Southgate to take him to the World Cup. Because where he can obviously do the job at centre-back, and probably a hell of a lot better than someone like Harry Maguire, even though Maguire has been okay for England, I have to admit that. But Ben White has also proved that he can do the job at right back. So that makes him a really good versatile option. And with two players in the team, Trent and Maguire, who haven't had the best of seasons, maybe Ben White is expected to fill in for either of those two if their poor form continues. I'm absolutely over the moon for Ben White. He came under so much criticism following his big money move to Arsenal, and especially in that opening day fixture last season against Brentford, where he got torn to pieces by pundits. And since then, he has bounced back really well, and it culminates in this huge reward. I'm happy for Saka, I'm happy for Ramsdale, but because they were expected, I'm over the moon for you, Ben White. Well done. This is a reward for all of your brilliant hard work and good performances throughout the season. Number 3, not televised anywhere in the world. Crazy. In this day and age, why would a game not be televised? Millions of Arsenal fans all over the world, and everyone is struggling, absolutely desperate to try and get some match footage and follow this game properly. Instead of having to just listen to commentary or text commentary, refreshing it constantly, surely in this day and age, they should be doing something to make sure that fans can simply watch their teams. I don't think it's too much to ask. I understand that for some reasons in this country, you can't show every single game because you want to preserve grassroots football and not jeopardize people going out and playing football because they want to stay home and watch the game or whatever it might be. But I mean, come on. For fans on the other side of the world, it makes no sense. It's simply an inconvenience. Hopefully you managed to follow the game. Let me know how you managed to follow the game in one of these very rare occasions where there was no broadcaster showing the Arsenal game. I'll be interested to hear how you all did it, and hopefully I might help some of you out as well. If you know, you know. Number 4, I want to talk about Eddie Nketiah. That finish yesterday was absolutely sensational. I thought he took his goal so well. And, you know, you see someone score a goal like that, you don't think they've been struggling for goals. You think that's a player who's got confidence running through their veins. Eddie Nketiah is a really interesting one. Inside the box, when he gets the chance, I really do not doubt his talent. And someone actually sent me a video of me talking about Nketiah 4 years ago in 2018 and talking about how highly I rate him, and having watched him in the academy, saying that I think that he can really make that transition to the first team. Now, clearly, he has made that transition to the first team, but he has not been as prolific as what I thought he would be, or as I hoped he would be. That one goal that he scored against Brighton, though, does just give you that little glimpse of how good he can be when, you know, he gets it right. And I'm sure Eddie Nketiah would turn around and say he hasn't been given faith by the manager and a run of games in which to bed himself into the team and prove himself. How do you feel about Eddie Nketiah? Do you feel like he can do the job? And when you see him do things like that, are you surprised, or do you already know that he's got that in his locker? Reece Nelson as well did really well, especially for that first goal, and they combined with a little Hail End special. But I'm really hoping that Nketiah gets a bit of confidence from that and pushes on for the remainder of the season and starts giving Gabriel Jesus some real competition for that striker spot. Number 5, and this is about Carabao Cup hangover. Hopefully this point will try and make you feel a little bit better about the fact that we're not in the competition. So what are we going to do? We're going to take a look at the games that follow the Carabao Cup fixtures for the rest of the season. And maybe we can look at that and say we'd probably be better off without having the Carabao Cup games in the week where we've got some very important Premier League games. So starting with the 4th round. Now, Tom Canton from the Gooner Talk, he pointed out that actually this would have been better to play than not to play. And that's because this would have been our first game back from the World Cup and would have come before West Ham at home. Now, I agree with him on this one, to be honest with you. Sometimes fixtures aren't good because you don't want the congestion, but after taking a month out in the middle of the season because of the World Cup, I would have liked to have had a game with not as much riding on it, rather than going straight back into the pressure of the Premier League. So 4th round, we're probably worse off by not playing it. The quarter-final, that would have been a whole week after the Newcastle game, so fine, there's enough of a gap there, but only 3 or 4 days before Tottenham away. So when we're about to face Tottenham away in that Premier League fixture, I'm obviously going to be very glad that we don't have a Carabao Cup quarter-final to play. And especially at the quarter-final stage, now you're thinking about playing more of your first 11. So who knows, perhaps that could be a blessing in disguise. The only way to prove that is to go to White Hart Lane and absolutely smash them and take the 3 points. The semi-final will be a few days after Man United at home and a few days before Everton away. Now, you know, after United at home and Everton away, you're going to be thinking semi-final, there's going to be some squad rotation, there's going to be a bit of strain on the squad. So again, that could be a blessing in disguise. All depends on what we go and do in those results against United and Everton. And the final would have meant that we would have to rearrange the Leicester away game. And that's only going to cause fixture congestion elsewhere. All in all, look, that's enough for me to try and make myself feel better about being dumped out the cup. And I'm going to take it on the chin and hope that in those games where now we don't have a Carabao Cup game before them, Arsenal go and do the business and prove the point that actually we took it as a blessing in disguise and brought that into reality. Thank you very much for watching as usual. If you haven't already, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Only 1 game left to go until the World Cup starts. So all eyes on Wolves away. And it's absolutely crucial that we go and follow up this defeat like big teams do and go and get the 3 points. Fingers crossed we do that and we stay top of the league going into the World Cup. And then can't wait to see what we do in the second half of the season. Take care. See you after Wolves.